Okay, hello everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Building a Teen Tutoring Service. Before we get started, I wanted to thank our sponsors, P&G Ventures, Kroger, First Financial, North American Properties, Vora Ventures, Taft, and CAMK. This would not be possible without them. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please continue to use the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen to ask your questions. A recorded version of today's webinar will be provided. And please continue to fill out that survey that pops up at the end of this webinar. Thank you all so much for attending. Now I'm going to hand it off to Aaron and Aiden to get us started.
Hi, I'm Aiden Finn. I'm a senior at St. Xavier High School.
I'm Aaron Finn. I'm a sophomore at the Seven Hills Upper School, and we are the co-founders of Tutor Teams.
So here are sponsors. And so our name is Building a Teen Tutoring Service, but we like to think of it as how we became accidental entrepreneurs. So who we are. So we are a group of Cincinnati high school tutors helping students stay engaged in learning. And our vision is to harness the empathy, optimism, and innovation of local teens to help close the education gap in our community. So we're going to share with you guys a few key things we learned along the way, and we will mention these throughout the whole presentation. So starting off, businesses grow at the speed of trust. This is really important. Do what you know and be who you are. You don't need frills to be effective. Then ask. There is help out there.
So how and why we started Tutor Teams? Tutor Teams began in March of 2020. And Tutor Teams began when my cousin reached out to me and asked if I could help him do his math homework. So I got on FaceTime, and for about an hour, I answered 4 or 5 questions with him and just helped him through it. Later that evening at dinner, we asked our mom if this was something that maybe we could do with friends and family to keep us busy while we were doing virtual learning. And so we decided to do some market research. We sent out a survey to parents, teens, friends, family, people we knew, and asked what they thought of this. And we heard back from the parents that yes, they were stressed out, they were worried about this virtual learning space, and they were interested to have this service. All the teens we reached out to said they would definitely love to tutor with us, even for volunteer work. And so we decided we combined our knowledge of schools and screen, and we had both done tutoring service at school. And so why not kind of combine all 3 ideas together? And that's how the first MVP of Tutor Teams became. The MVP is the minimum viable product, which is essentially the most simplistic version of your product to satisfy your customers. So we, after our survey, created a sign-up form on Google Forms. We linked this to Google Sheets and sent it out to friends and family. And at this point, all Tutor Teams was a name. So it worked. Well, the need was there, and our tutors were interested. We even had some parents who were so jazzed about this idea that they were willing to promote us. What needed some work? Well, service times. The parents wanted tutoring during the school day, but Aiden and I are both in structured classes, and so we had to reach out to some friends from different schools to see if they could help us because they had more flexible schedules. Some standardization. A lot of parents had a lot of different needs, and we need some way to simplify that down into a couple of categories to help us better understand what they were looking for. And why should they trust us? When this got beyond initial family and friends, they didn't know who we were, and so we needed a way to quickly understand who we were and why we were doing this.
And so with all those promoters, we got a lot of new signups and requests to be tutors. So we need a place for us to handle all of that. So we built a website. Our parents wanted to quickly understand who we are. And so we also told them that on the website. Our teens, the more teens we had, the more training we had to do. So we created templates. These were sample emails and texts to parents and students so they could quickly and effectively communicate. And then we had to balance our school life and our tutor team's life and our social life. And so our Tutor Teams 2.0 minimum viable product would have been our logo, our one-page website, and also our products. So we had 4 products. Product number 1 would be our subject tutors. These are your standard tutoring, don't really need to explain much, it's just tutors. Then we had our homework buddies, who are tutors that help their students stay on track with homework assignments. Then we have our activity coaches, and these coaches help with music practices. And then we have our big siblings, and these are tutors for younger students, and they just help them stay engaged while their parents are out doing work, or maybe give them an hour for parents to take a call. Then on that trust factor, we had some testimonials since parents listen to other parents. Then tutor orientation helps improve the experience for both our tutors and the students. Then Aaron saved me a bunch of times with a Google Sheet plugin.
Welcome, bro.
Okay, so after all of that publicity, this is what happened.
Teens launched a free online tutoring service to help students doing schoolwork from home right now. As Local 12's Genesis Snell shows us, parents are pretty grateful for this extra bit of help.
With a little bit of creativity, mixed with technology, local high schoolers Aaron and Aiden Finn created Tutor Teens.
We know that people are worried and are stressed, and we want to do whatever we can to alleviate that stress.
They created a free online tutoring service aimed to meet the needs of K-8 kids during the coronavirus pandemic.
We know screens, but we also know school, and so we decided that maybe we can combine the two and get some good out of it.
The tutors are comprised of high schoolers from the greater Cincinnati area, and their goal is to help keep the younger generation motivated to learn during a nationwide pandemic. As schools are closed, Tutor Teens not only helps kids with their homework, but it allows them to connect with other teens for the social connections students would normally get while at school.
It's been a great avenue for her socially, just to chat with somebody else.
Valerie Wooden's 8-year-old daughter uses Tutor Teens twice a week.
I would pay for it, honestly. I mean, I think they're amazing.
Kids listen to kids before they listen to us.
Mike Morosky, Cincinnati Public School Board member, says while teachers have been doing a great job, this provides another outlet for success.
There's two things going on here. There's helping the younger kids with homework, social emotional needs, etc. But then also for these teenagers who may have a skill that they're used to giving back, or maybe a kid who's never thought about using his or her skill to give back. It's an opportunity to do that.
And as long as there's a need,
Well, we kind of just want to help as many people as we can.
the Finns say they'll do what they can to keep tutoring and helping others. Jenna Cisneros, Local 12 News.
Teens launched a
So after Local 12 covered us, we had other media sites reach out to see if they could cover us. From the Wall Street Journal to XQ America, the group that did the Graduate Together program with Obama. We actually had the Wall Street Journal and Forbes reach out to us in the same day. And this blew us out of the water. We couldn't even believe that this was happening. From our little idea to this news coverage. This proved that there was a need, that people were interested, that parents wanted this. And it was something that people wanted to hear about. Students, like our tutors, were taking initiative and trying to do something good during this pandemic.
So what worked? Well, the products worked really well. We based these off of parent feedback. And so it was really easy for the parents to understand what they were and how they worked. So that worked very well. And the orientations and meetings really did improve the experience for both our tutors and students. Some things that needed work included verification and security. Most of this was just making sure everyone was local. Because after national coverage, people from all over the country and from Africa applied to be tutors or have their child be tutored. We even had someone from another tutoring service try to become an intern for us and learn how we did things, which is pretty funny. But we also had to track a lot of people, and we needed a way to do this efficiently because we're getting so many emails. There's normally just Aaron or I just emailing a parent or a student about some timing issue or some scheduling conflict. And so we need a much more efficient way to do that.
So we're going to take a pause here and see if anyone has any questions. If we put them in the Q&A tool or in the chat. Cool.
Wait, chat. I'll type in. Let's give him another minute or something.
Sure.
I have a quick question for you guys. What advice would you give to other student entrepreneurs that are maybe like scared to start their idea or just, I don't know, get involved in entrepreneurship in general?
A couple of different things. As you mentioned in the beginning, do what you know. So if you have an idea and it's something that you're used to, go for it. Being a unique idea is what makes your product stand out. Don't try to fit into the market. And then just put it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. You saw we had a pretty rough MVP. Just getting something out there is a great way to get feedback and improve your product while getting some traction for it. So those are kind of two things I would recommend.
And if you're nervous about doing it, just if you have that problem, there is over 7 billion people in this world, so many other people will have the same problem. Main tool. So are you planning on making this in person as well after the COVID-19 pandemic?
No, I think one of the great things about Tutor Teens is that it is virtual, and the pandemic isn't really over yet. So we're kind of playing this by ear and seeing how this goes. But for now, we're looking to stay virtual. That allows a little bit more security for our tutors and for the students, and it's kind of a cool way to interact.
It's also easier because that means the students don't have to drive, and it helps us keep it free because tutors would have to pay gas money to get to the house, so it helps keep it free. And then how many children do you tutor in total? You'll find out soon. And how did work on finalizing your logo? What did you think about while creating it? So first, so our mom showed us how to use a software called Canva, which we use to develop our logo and many of our slides and some of our posts. And Aaron and I worked together before Aaron went to bed, and Aaron liked this idea with a pencil. I personally wasn't the biggest fan, so after Aaron fell asleep, kind of unilaterally changed the logo because I just finished a periodic table puzzle, and so you can see it looks like our current logo looks like a periodic table, and Aaron liked it. So
yeah, the new element of Tutortonium was born.
Tutortenium, and we still need to find out what its atomic number is.
So moving on, we're now going to ask you guys a couple of questions for our first poll. Dana, you can go ahead and put that up.
So as things slowed down over the summer, we wanted to do some market research and learn what our parents and tutors were thinking. So we're kind of sharing what we learned with you guys in these polls.
I'll give everyone 10 more seconds. Get your votes in.
Okay, so the answer, they wanted to make a difference and they were bored at home. You guys were pretty spot on your answers. Okay, so the number one answer was make a difference, and we were really glad because that means that our tutors are really passionate about this. And we're also glad that it sounded fun, as judging from what you guys voted in from what we think. Tutoring doesn't make an idea of fun for constantly, but our tutors were really excited about this, which means that they'll do a much better job, and we were really glad it sounded fun to them. And it is fun. Once I started tutoring, I realized how enjoyable it was. Then we appreciated the candor that they were all just bored. I think we were all bored, and that's a great reason for them to do it. And then I don't know if any of you guys in the audience are rising seniors, but college apps are a great reason to do a whole bunch of stuff.
We also asked our tutors, how does Tutor Teens benefit them? And so we didn't really know what to expect from this, but we were shocked when the largest portion of strongly agree was the fact that they had become more empathetic through the course of this, particularly towards some of the situations that their students were in. And the two columns that have no disagree are the empathy and the fact that they had grown as a person. And the two biggest blue sections called a top two box, the agree and strongly agree, were the fact that tutoring was not only a positive part of the pandemic for them, but that they had learned something new through it. So we're going to pose the same question to you, kind of. What do you think the parents viewed as the most beneficial part of Tutor Teens? Xana, if you can put up the second poll here.
So as you guys are taking this poll, this question's in a little different format. So your answers will represent the top two box or the positive and very positive responses from the parents. I'm not sure if Zoom can do the exact same polling that we gave them. So we're just gonna interpret your data.
I'll give everyone 10 more seconds.
Hey, so you guys thought what we thought.
That at-home learning was going to be like the biggest thing, followed by helping them stay on track and then helping them next school year.
There we go.
There you go. Actually, helping with keeping the child busy and then at-home learning were some of the lower ones. The biggest one was providing a mentor to their child. And that was great for us to hear. We've been testing some language around mentoring in this program. And so to hear that they reacted so positively to that was awesome for us to hear. And it showed that Tutor Teens is more than just a program for tutoring, a program for volunteer tutors to help kids with their education. It was creating a really deep connection. That's kind of part of the reason why we started this and why we like this program so much, is because of that connection aspect. So that mentorship, and then making schoolwork more fun. As Aiden said, when something is fun, people are more likely to do it and more likely to put effort into it. So the fact that our tutors could make this fun for the students means that they were going to enjoy their schoolwork a lot more. So COVID. We asked both our teens and our parents in this the summer survey we sent out, in 5 words or less, describe how you're feeling about going back to school. And we were thinking for the parents it'd be some relieved, glad to go back, but actually nervous, anxious, uncertain, scared, unsure, worried were some of the biggest words. You could almost feel like the stress and the anxiety coming through the screen. And so that was kind of like an eye-opener that parents were really unsure about what was happening. Whereas our teens, though still nervous, were also excited, hopeful, curious. They had a little more of a positive outlook on this. And so it was interesting for us and our teens to note that when talking to parents that they are not quite as chipper about going back to school. We're going to pause here again and see if anyone had any questions over some of the data we just shared. If not, we'll keep moving.
A few more seconds in case you're typing, but yeah, let's keep on going.
Cool. So where does all this get us? All this information, all the things we've learned is where we're now. Tutor Teens 2.5-ish. So now I have a multi-page website. We added a news section, we added testimonials, and an About Us page and an FAQ, which are 2 of our most trafficked pages. The reason we added the About Us page is because a lot of the media had been about Aiden and me, and we wanted to find a way to show off our tutors, because without them, this program wouldn't run. We also added a LinkedIn account, and we're on Twitter. We added Tutoring Resources to help our students, or our tutors that have been asking for those, send out a call on Facebook to teachers saying, hey, do you know any resources? And within 30 minutes, we had a conversation going on between teachers talking about different resources. And then that night, we got a bunch of emails with amazing resources. So thank you, parents, and thank you, teachers. And then our team meetings. It's just so hard to say. Tutor Teens team meetings. We have initiated with our students, our tutors, to help them be a part of the program more, get their input, and really kind of work on our Tutor Teens tribe.
You guys have one question that popped up in the Q&A, if you guys want to look at that.
Thank you. So how do you plan to use the data you collected to improve your service?
So we kind of already did this. We took a lot of the input we've heard from them and worked on that on our marketing. Some of the data we didn't show was some things we asked about ways that they think that we could improve tutor teams. And we're taking a lot of their information and just some of the things that we saw in those polls about how they're feeling, the benefits, and kind of really trying to enhance those aspects of our program. Because we're constantly growing. We were the accidental entrepreneurs. We didn't really know what we were doing. And so getting that feedback is really, really helpful for us because it helps us grow with our parents and with our tutors.
Yeah, and it also kind of lets us, if people like a certain you saw some things were more popular than others, so we will focus more on the more popular aspects of our program.
So what we learned from all of this? Well, a lot of the pages, the meetings, and the expanded social helped us kind of enhance our connections and have more trust between us and our tutors and us and our parents. The resources were great. It provided a sense of confidence to our tutors. But what needed some work, specifically the tracking pages, we were still using the same Google Sheets we started with, now decked out in colors, but still a little bit rough. And so as we were getting larger, it was becoming more and more of a hassle to try to sort through all that information. We also had some problems with parent and tutor communications. The tutor would set up a time and the parent would forget and not show up, trying to make sure that that was the schedule was working. And then scaling. We were having a challenge with scaling. So we were using free tools, which are amazing and great to start, but they require a lot of hands-on work and only give us so much flexibility. So we started turning toward things like Airtable and Zapier to allow us to have more flexibility and use tools to our advantage and really combine all of our information and manipulate in ways that are helpful for us.
So our 4-month or more like month and a half impact, since most of our growth happened within the first month and a half when we were still in school, it has been 42 tutors who have signed up and 113 students have signed up. And I think that answers one of the questions that was asked earlier. So what's next? So over this program, or this Centuries program has helped us to identify a few different ways which we could grow in the future, because we kind of, before this kind of thought we would be kind of chugging along as tutor teens, doing our thing. But now we've decided we're gonna have a future. And we are no longer accidental. So we've been asking ourselves a few questions. Some of them are, we know the answer to, like, should we continue? We're definitely, but other ones we don't. So let's just say, should we stay local? Yes, we are going to stay local, at least for now. Partially because it's an important aspect of our service. Parents trust people who stay local, or people trust people who live near them. So if you know the school that your tutor goes to and you trust that school, then you're more likely to trust the quality of your tutor. There's also a really big need just in Hamilton County. As you can see, over 100,000 students. That's not including a place like Mason, Milford, North Kentucky. So there's a huge need here. Why only teens? It's mostly because the kids like to talk to people close to their age, because you're more comfortable talking to people who are closer in age to you. And the teens are doing really well, so we don't need to change. Why K through 12? It's mostly because we can help K through 12. And so we're gonna help as many people as we can. And then what type of business are we? So we don't know the answer to this one yet. Well, currently we are not a business, but we have decided we're gonna become some sort of entity, and we are exploring different options, such as becoming a nonprofit or a social enterprise.
So looking for the future of tutor teens, things that we're working on now. So kind of start for this next school year. Automation, as we mentioned before, with things like Airtable and Zapier and other programs that are out there that we don't know exist yet. We're really having a big push for automation in a way that our teens can engage with us via some of this automation, so that's not all on us trying to do things. And learning logs, something that we actually asked our parents about in that survey we sent out over the summer. It would be a feedback form that the tutors would fill out after every session and send to the parents to kind of keep the parents in the loop. It would also provide a way for our tutors to talk about how the student is doing, if they're not focusing, or if they're doing really great in a more formal setting. Some things we're working on for next year, some things for within a year. Well, text schedule reminders, the idea of trying to fix the problem of parents not showing up by a reminder that sends maybe 30 minutes before every session to both the parent and the tutor. And tutor training programs to give that further confidence boost to our tutors, working with teachers to help make our tutors better tutors, how to work with kids if they aren't interested in what they're doing, or if they're just kind of spacing out and not focusing, and how to better use Zoom in general in an educational standpoint.
So next is later. So in this later section, hopefully will happen within 2 years, maybe 3. Just we hope to get to these sometime. And that includes the app, where we will centralize a lot of different aspects of our current tutor team program, such as, for example, we could maybe put our learning logs in there so parents could access that. It could help us with automation. We'd have reminders sent through the app. We could have a hotline in the app. We could do a whole bunch of things through this app. And opening new chapters. So we want to stay local, but we want to expand. And this is the way we can do both. So we are going to provide teens in different cities some resources so they can start their own Tutor Teens Columbus or Tutor Teens Denver. And they can be local in their own city. We'll be local in ours, but Tutor Teens will still expand. You kind of think of it as sort of like franchising. And then after later is later-er. And these are our moonshot goals. It would be nice to have them. We don't have the money. We don't have our program's not large enough for them yet. So in the future, it would be nice. So one of these is virtual reality, which we could take our students on a field trip to the zoo, or maybe we could take them to a planetarium somewhere as a virtual planetarium. And that'd be great for the younger students. But for the older students, we could just be in the same classroom together. We could have our virtual classroom where we'd be at either in their room or in a desk somewhere, is working on the same virtual sheet of paper, which would be really exciting. There you go.
So to kind of wrap this all up, schools, screens, service. That's this idea. If you want to become a tutor team, we would love to have you. We have parents signing up for the next school year, and we're looking for people to join us. So if you have a friend who is interested in becoming a tutor, if you're interested in becoming a tutor, or you know someone who could benefit from our program, reach out to us at tutorteamcincy@gmail.com or our website, www.tutorteams.com. If you're looking to become a tutor, check out that About Us page because the link is there.
Oh, there we go.
And then to wrap this all up, these 4 key things: trust, be who you are, keep it simple, and ask. There's help out there.
So question time. So we got a question earlier that was, how did your tutoring service further a child's education based off things they learned this year after they've already had more than a semester of in-person schooling? And yeah, so we don't teach them new things. We work with them to help solidify things they're trying to learn or they already have learned but have forgotten. So we will work with whatever packets they're given. For example, we'll call them Student X and Tutor Y. So Student X was really struggling in Walnut. Basically, he had Walnut Hills' hardest math teacher, and Student X was struggling immensely. And Tutor Y had the same teacher, and Tutor Y spent an hour every single weekday for a month helping Student X get back up. So we normally use our subject tutoring to help either get kids caught up or keep them ahead.
There's a lot of people, if they weren't in or virtual classes, structured classes, they may just have a packet. And so even to help some young kids stay focused on their work, or as a place for questions to be asked, you're just kind of a resource there for whatever the student might need, whether it be learning a new concept or kind of solidifying that in their brain, or just keeping them focused, or as a person that to hang out with while their parent was on a business call. We're really trying to specialize it towards that individual student's needs.
Do parents participate in sessions? If they want to, they can. It's all up to the parents if they feel. We normally say you should participate for the first session so you can get to know the tutor can get to know you. But then after that, it's really up to the parent and the tutor. Normally, the students do better without their parent near them. That's some added pressure, but it's whatever the parents want. Wow. Oh, another one popped up. How many of your students are continuing?
So into the summer, we had about a good probably 75% of our students continue. And then into the coming school year, it's kind of a give and take, and we're still trying to figure it out. We have a lot are thinking about continuing. They aren't totally sure because no one really knows what it's going to look like. So I would say we have probably a good 45-50% of our tutors continuing or strongly considering continuing. But we're definitely in the lookout for more tutors, just because with Cincinnati Public Schools going back virtual for the beginning of the summer and other schools going back in person, we're looking for more tutors to really help us just to maintain our numbers. So as I said, if you're interested, check us out.
How is a business model maintaining viable? What revenue streams do you have as a nonprofit or social service? So as a nonprofit, we would probably just take grant money. And then as a social service, we have a few different ideas. One of them is having, like, can't remember the exact word, but we would also have a nonprofit foundation linked to us, so we could still receive grant money, but we could spend it in different ways, such as trying to go for more innovative solutions that maybe would not be within the limits of the grant. And then, or we might do this, we might not offer some premium service, but we still don't know yet, since we are currently just free tutoring.
Yeah, we're really exploring this idea of like, what are we going to be as a business? We've been working actually with the Flywheel program to talk about ways that we could become something more official. Again, the nonprofit option is out there, becoming a social service. We thought about maybe working with corporate partners and offering our services to their employees. Really don't know yet. It's kind of up in the air. We're just looking at how we can possibly find some of those revenue models. So it's just something that we're kind of exploring.
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
How do you guys have like tips for kind of like time management and how you guys balanced everything, and tips for people our age on how we can balance everything better?
So the idea of our office hours, we live in the same household. We don't communicate very well. So it was really kind of a struggle figuring out when we're going to do this, how we're going to figure out scheduling the schooling. This pandemic kind of provided the perfect time for us to start this, because we had free time to kill. We didn't have after school activities. And so we had all this time, and this kind of allowed us to start this business and get it off the ground. So it's going to be a lot harder going back into school. So I would really say just set up a time, an hour every day or 2 hours every day, to say from 5 to 6, I'm going to work on my startup. And just giving yourself some set times to just sit down and work with it, even especially going into the school year, having something already in place will make you sit down and do that. So that's kind of just time management. Force yourself to just every time for an hour, sit down and get some stuff done has kind of been a good thing for us.
And then going off of that, were there mentors or people that helped you along the way as you guys built your idea?
So mom and dad.
Yeah, our parents really helped. They introduced us to a lot of the free tools and were a feedback board for questions you might have. Mr. Blackshaw, we actually reached out to him, and he was able to really help us kind of figure out some ways we could expand Tutor-Teens and thinking about Tutor-Teens as more than just kind of our simple idea. And then our tutors, we asked a lot of our tutors to help us. They've given us some great ideas, and some of them are older than I am. And so being able to have them as another sounding board, another advisory board, and as peers has been really helpful, and they inspire us every day.
Is that it? Looks like that's it. So thank you guys.
Thank you both. Yeah, it looks like we are good with questions. You guys got a lot. But I'm gonna wrap us up here. I have a couple important notes to make. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join us today. Thank you, Aaron and Aiden, for talking in depth on how you built your idea from the ground up. It was great to hear from student entrepreneurs like you. The recorded version of this session will be available soon. Students, we love hearing your feedback. Please continue to fill out that quick survey that pops up once you leave the meeting. It takes less than a minute, and we love hearing from you all. Please join us at 2 p.m. for our last Mastering Empathy session today. I also wanted to talk to everyone about our big day tomorrow. So the pitch competition starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow. If you're a student, please use the Zoom link that's been provided. But if you want family or friends to tune in, we would love to have them tune in. But just make sure you share the YouTube live link we send out to them, because we want our Zoom link just to be for our students and the judges, just so that we can avoid any kind of distraction or interruption. But we want as many people as we can viewing the competition live, because we want all of you guys to be able to show off the great ideas you've been working on. So if there's anyone you would like to tune in, make sure you share the YouTube live link with them that we'll be sending out again. Following the pitch competition, our CEO, Pete Blackshaw, will be unveiling the Showcase of Resilience, which is a really neat project we've been working on to showcase how the companies around us have responded to these unprecedented times. And then Pete will close off with final remarks for this summer program. So I'm excited to see you all there. Good luck on your pitch competition tomorrow. If you guys are all participating, I'm so excited to hear your ideas. But anyways, thanks again, Erin and Aiden. Thank you, everyone.